failing, rebuilding, and shining through it all. Today, I am excited to have Kim Meeker from Temecula. She's an amazing lady building a team. I had the privilege to meet her maybe a year ago and mastermind with her. And I've watched this lady, how strong she is, how vulnerable she is, and how successful she is as well. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Kim Meeker. Kim, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course. And thank you for having me. I'm excited.
And I am excited too. So, as I mentioned, like what made me want you to have you on the show, because me and you kind of like similar situation. We are building a team. Our team is small still. We're not kind of like those large groups of people that we have, and things looks so much prettier on the outside than it is really on the inside. So take me back to, I know you had a team before, and you that team kind of dissolved as you went
Imploded.
on. Yeah, diluted.
Let's just be honest.
And
Actually,
then
three
you went on
times,
a
but
small
that's okay.
location, and now you decided to rebuild. So take me on that journey and what happened in the past. I know you had discouragement rebuilding a team. We talked about that on Mastermind. So take us through that and tell me like what happened with your first experience as a team leader with your team.
Sure. So, with my experience in real estate, a lot of us as solo agents, we are every position in our businesses, right? We're the assistant, we're the showing agent, we're the listing agent, we're a TC for some agents, they TC still their same files. I don't understand that, but that's okay, but we wear many, many different hats. And so I was in a place in my business that I needed help, right? I just couldn't do it all. And back, many years ago, I would say we all like teams became very popular and we were all trying to figure it out together, right? So there was no roadmap on how to build a team. And, my coach at the time was a lot of us through our coaching platform, we're building teams and then also following some other teams that were already bigger, but really nobody had the roadmap, right? Nobody had the playbook. We were just all figuring it out together. So in figuring that out, I hired agents to take my the additional business that I had, right? And I wasn't even paying for leads at that time. I just had so many leads coming in organically from all my farming that I couldn't handle it all, right? And my referrals. So I went out and I picked agents. I seeked them out. I hunted, and I hunted open houses for agents, that I thought would fit my personality, right? And what I was looking for. And I picked some other agents, in different areas. And I wound up with, two agents. And that's how I started my first team. And there was nothing wrong or right, really. It was a growth experience for all of us. But I hired now I know I hired the right people at the wrong time. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah. And so in going through that growth, I also brought on other agents at the time because we started growing. I really got involved with Zillow very, very heavily and got a lot of leads with that. And then I needed more agents. And the agents that I had didn't want me to grow, right? They took it personally versus like, oh my gosh, we're growing. And that's all on the leader. I take full responsibility of that. But that was probably my first sign of failure. And I didn't know what to do with it, right? I didn't know how to handle that properly. So I just kept growing and just kept going in this direction, and not really focusing on why were they feeling that way and going a little bit deeper with that and helping them through whatever insecurities they were feeling at the time, right? So that was the first fail forward.
That's the first hiccup right there.
That's the first hiccup for sure.
Okay, so your team ended up, you had how many agents you had at that time?
Gosh, I think at that time I got up to almost 8. I think I had 8 agents. I did have one admin at the
Okay.
time and then my coach.
And I believe everyone else left.
Yes.
Everybody left in that team.
Everybody left and then I rebuilt again, kind of just, but all I did, Rima, what I did is I just brought people back on. I just recruited on. I didn't fix the foundation. There's if you don't have a foundation, I thought I had a foundation, right? I thought I was the foundation, right? And so doing that, I didn't fix the problem. So I was exhausted because I was doing all the production. I was prospecting. I was leading, right? I was leading by example and hoping that people would follow me because I thought, well, if they just did like an eighth of what I do, I mean, I know that sounds really small, but we do a lot in our industry, right? We do a lot in our business. Just by default, they'll be successful. That's what I thought, right? Just lead
So
by
you weren't
example.
intentional with it. You just followed the kind of the path of everyone was doing,
Mm-hmm.
wishing it will work for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And that failed.
That failed. Yep. It failed because you know why? Because I was so exhausted. I just had to break up with busy. And I actually posted that on social media. I was like, I'm breaking up with busy. I'm done. I'm done throwing in the towel.
So that team disappeared as well. And then you became a solo agent. You
I
said,
did.
I'm not doing it anymore. Hell with the team. I'm going all solo. I don't need anyone. I got it. I got this. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did that work for you in that, for how long you stayed solo?
So what I did at that time is I had to really step back and evaluate everything. I had to take a look at myself, my growth, my family, right? Because a lot of times we forget about our family. And Rima, I know you have 3 children as well. I have 3 boys, and my boys were all very, very involved in sports, very heavily. And I'm a wife. My husband works a lot as well. So I had a lot to consider. And I think I had put my family last. And that was really hard for me when I stopped for a minute and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Like, I put my family literally as the last button on the shirt. And that one, everything, all the other buttons went, and that was the only button that was still tight. And I had to go back to my family. I had to get back to the basics. I had to find out where's my foundation? Well, my foundation is my family.
Got it. So is that what motivates you to restart the team?
So really what I did is so I really took a step back. I even left my brokerage because I needed to cleanse. I needed to take everyone. I needed to restart, right? And I left my brokerage. I'm a broker, so I went off on my own, but I had to clean all the the junk and the sparkly stuff out of my brain, and I had to press the restart button. I had to find out what it was that I really wanted to do. Did I want to be solo? Did I want to, start my own brokerage? Did I want to build a team again? Do I even want to do real estate? Like I've been doing this, Rima, and I started in the mortgage industry in 86,
Wow.
you
Long time.
know, a long time. And I've been hustling since then with no break, like full throttle the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So when I did that and stepping back, what I also recognized very quickly is whether I chose to be solo and do the whole admin support, because I had to have admin, right? I have too much business for me to just be solo, right? I can't. It just wouldn't work. Or do I want to build a team? And if I want to build a team, what does that look like? So what I did is I really seeked out people that I wanted to be around. Like I needed to fill my bucket with those that were bigger and much greater than me. Because, one thing I really, if I could share just a few nuggets, stay humble. I've always fought to stay humble in this industry, whatever the peaks or the valleys are, you have to stay humble, right? And so when I took that step back and I was really focusing on my family, I realized none of that other noise is important,
So you,
right?
yes.
So then I was like, do I want to be by myself? Do I want to be a lone star and just have my own brokerage? Because I'm fully capable of doing that. I have the skill set to do that, right? Um, and after doing a lot of reading and just self work on that and my mental mindset to pull myself out of that space, I just started reading. I started reading as much as I could. And then things just kind of started falling into place. Like my mind became more clear, and those that I needed to be around showed up. Does it make sense?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, and you said something very powerful, and it's big for me. And I always say it, like, when you start surrounding yourself with the right people at
Mhm.
the right environment, that forces you to grow, forces you to be better.
Yeah,
Like I always say, I want to be the smallest fish in the room.
100%.
And I want to be regarding, yeah, it is intimidating for some people. And you see people, like, we've been in those rooms, me and you, Kim, and seeing those people like doing it on a huge level, it's like, oh my God, like that's intimidating to see, like, who am I to be in this room? But that's what's going to help all of us grow and flourish, and pushes us to do better things and to be better for us, for our family, and for our team, and for our
Mhm.
clients, and so on and so forth. So that's, for me, that's huge. And that's actually, I'm sure for you too, what helped us to get where we're at today.
Yes. And so with that, came, finding the right people to be around. And, Mary Maloney, I know she's heard this from me multiple times, but I saw her speak on stage several years ago. And there was just something about her. She's a strong
Mary was
woman.
with us last week on
Was
this.
she? Oh yeah, I saw. I saw. Yes, yes, yes.
Last Friday.
Amazing. Amazing. Love her to death.
Yeah.
But I was looking for to be, I don't need to be, and I think a lot of us think like we need to be, like we're afraid to be under people. And I know that sounds probably bizarre to say that. I want to be alongside people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I feel like in our industry, there's not a lot of collaboration. There's simply not. If you're successful, a lot of the successful teams and agents, they don't open up their playbook. So
Yeah.
that was really important to me. I want to be around those that want to grow, but want to lead, right? So when I say things started showing up, I just started paying attention to who I wanted to be around. And that was really important to me, because if it wasn't so much about the playbook, I have plenty of playbooks in my own space. But how do I organize this? Right?
Mhm.
How do I put these systems into place? Because coming from, what I consider corporate America, if I were to build a team or even have my own, as a solo agent with my own admin staff per se, I needed to build that foundation. And that's what I was after, was the foundation, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't, in theory, bring on agents. I can't, in theory, help my clients and do our book of business if I don't have systems and processes in place that I believe in,
That's
right?
gonna work for you too.
Right, right. And it has to, so I had to clean house. I just had to go in, I had to clean things out. And then I had to show up too, though. We have to remember that, right? So by me showing up for myself, reading, putting those deposits back into my bank, and reinvesting in myself first, things started showing up.
And reading, what kind of books did you read?
Oh Lord. I was really big on Audible. So I think Rocket Fuel was really important to me. I read that so many times. Or listen, I do a lot of audio books, right? So Rocket Fuel really, like, I think I've listened to it 4 times, and every time I hear something completely different. But as a visionary, I was stuck in the weeds, and we don't do well in the weeds,
Yeah.
right? And I thought about that, and I thought, okay, so where do I find my other visionaries? How are they doing this? Because as a visionary, as a what we I'm a big disc person, sorry, but as a high D, we definitely have to be in our space, or we get a little, I think, crazy because we're not comfortable. But So that one was good. There's gosh, I can go right to my phone actually and just rattle them off. But I would love to share some of them with you before we do get off of here. But right now I'm reading, Can't Hurt Me, you know.
Oh, that's an amazing one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
So I've
great.
read the book and now I'm listening to audio because Bill Pipe says, listen to the audio. It's much better. Right. And this guy is actually from Indiana, where I'm from. And so he went to my high school as well. And so it's like, oh, wait, I know where this guy's from. But anyway, the audio is much better. I
Yeah.
highly recommend the audio.
And you
So
mentioned something regarding reading books and reading
mhm,
it multiple times, and every time you pick up something different
yeah,
from the book. It's
yeah,
the same thing when we kind of like put ourselves in those rooms,
yep,
even though if it's the same people, every time when I go to mastermind or go to seminars, every time I pick up, maybe I've heard the message before, but
mhm,
it just means something different to me, or
yeah, and
somebody's
you
doing
receive
it
it
a different
differently.
way
Yep.
that I come in and I implement it in my business, because
Mhm,
every business is different. You run your business different than I do.
mhm.
I mean, everybody else has their own niche, their own style, how to run their business. It just, we have to kind of like sit in those rooms to figure out what we can bring home that's going to work for us, even if we edit it or change it a little bit or tweak it. But is that going to work for us? Because not everything that we pick out there is going to work for us, or we're going to bring it home to us.
Mhm.
So that's so true about reading books and reading it multiple times, because every time you pick up something new, you something triggers, like, or you're reading it, or you are in a room or reading a book and you're in different state of mind too. It's like, I wasn't ready for that at that previously, but I'm ready for it now.
Right, right, right. So the first book that when I was going through that, I actually downloaded was Girl Wash Your Face. I don't know if you've read that one,
Uh-uh.
but I read that or listened to that multiple times because that's just where I was stuck. I had to look at myself first, right? I had to work on myself. I couldn't go back into whether it was solo or I mean, I even considered literally shutting down my business altogether.
Wow.
That's pretty. I mean, to me, I thought, wow, I'm definitely um, in a in a situation where I really have to take a deep look at this because I was in real estate before I even had my children, right?
You just hit a wall.
I hit the wall
Yeah.
hard.
But that's what makes you different, because
Mhm.
you get over that wall, you managed to climb, and look at you today. Now you have a team. How many you have on your team right now?
So we have two. We've lost a couple, but again, it's just part of that transition. I'm really focused on hiring the right agents to fit our culture this time. And I'm being very, very protective of that because one thing I've noticed going through the other, transitions is that not everybody has to have, and I don't like nobody, we don't all have to have the same goals, right? We don't all have to be the same people or personalities. Just the common denominator in my core value is give. If you're in a place where you're humble and you are always willing to give and be a continuing student, that's like the number one match for me to meet our culture,
Yes.
right?
And it doesn't, for me, like, I learned from my mistakes too. I mean, it does not have to be top producers, because
No.
John says it best. Sometimes your top producers are the people you need to get rid of on your team,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're not the right fit somehow or another. So that's definitely like, with me, I mean, I've lost a lot. I've lost agents. We recruited agents, and it's the same thing. It's a struggle every time, and we just want to make sure it's the right fit again for us and for
And
what
for them.
what we're trying to create and what we're trying to build. um, and I know building a team, from my experience, it's not as pretty, it's not as easy, it's a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of time to be spent with those agents that you're bringing along
Mhm.
with um, coaching and setting them ready. Um, why for Kim? Why the team? Why didn't you leave yourself as a solo agent?
Sure, that's a great question. And so going through all of the personal work that I was doing and trying to just trying to get back on the tracks, right? As when I was raised, my mom's always like, you can stay on the track, you're going to get off, just get back on. Don't worry about it. Just get back on. When you get off, just get back on. So I was just trying to find that track again, right? And so in doing that, um, I was talking with a friend and I was looking at coaches. Okay. So I'm a little bit, the answer is a little bit complex, right? So I feel like I need to kind of bring you through this because
Sure.
you're part of this equation, my friend. So, and looking for a coach, I had been with the same coaching platform for almost 7 years. I'm just going to say roughly 7 years, just around it. And so that was no longer working for me. And a friend of mine, and talking with them when I was trying to figure out who do I want to be coached with, um, they said, well, I use this coach for leadership and I use this coach for systems and processes. And I use this coach. I'm like, wait a minute, you have 3 coaches, right? And I thought, wow, I never thought about the leadership. So I think for me, that was also a pivoting point. I'm like, oh, maybe I need to be looking at leadership. And then the leadership, if I get around people that are leading and leading the right way, I can lead these agents that I choose if I choose to bring on a team. Again, mind you, I was not even going to consider doing a team unless I have the systems, the foundation, and the leadership to be able to provide these agents. I'm just not going to do it, right? Because that is my responsibility to these agents. If they trust me to lead them, then I feel like I need to provide them that foundation. That's always been the thing for me, right? So hence why, and this could be a whole nother, time, but hence why I joined EXP, right? Because they have a platform and they're smart. They've put it together for us to be able to build and help those build their business. So the answer to your question is when I connected with you and we went to Tahoe for John's event last fall, one thing you said to me is, I want to be here and I want to be here and I want to be here. And I'm like, okay, I got to get there to where I feel confident enough to execute that and to say that with conviction, right? Because I used to be there. I had to find that. And I remember I told you, I said, oh, I'm just not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And you're like, well, I'm doing this. I'm like, okay, that's great. And you're like, I want to be out of production. I want to lead. I'm like, you know what? And I really listened because the light, like I felt some warmth with that. And I thought, yes, how do I get there?
Yeah.
Right. And I never even admitted to you that, but I was listening very closely. And so after I left, I thought, okay, now I have vision. I want to be out of production. I have so much knowledge and such a heart to help other agents grow their business. Remember, I told you I got stuck in the weeds with the prior teams because I was always trying to help them understand how to build their business. But the
Right.
way the team was set up at that time was what I consider a team, not a team brokerage. So a team is where to me, you have like my team name was Kim Meeker Realty Group. So I always felt like the agents, after they were with me for a year or 2 years, they felt like they were building Kim Meeker's business, right?
Right.
So when I decided to bring on the team, I dropped the Kim. It's Meeker Realty Group. You come on, and I'm going to help you build and figure it out how to be successful in this business and be a successful real estate agent. And
Yes.
that's when I decided to have that shift and to start building a team again.
Yeah.
And that I took a year and a half to build those processes, though.
Right. Right.
It
And
wasn't overnight.
piggyback on that a little bit. We're both, with me and you, were still heavily in production.
Mhm.
Um, and I, to get to a point to be out of production, like when I tell people I want to be out of production, it's a heavier job and responsibility on us to
Mhm.
be out of production. So it's like people, they don't get it because having a team, it's full-time job.
Yeah.
and we
We're
work
already full time.
exactly. So
And it's
it's
expensive. Let's not forget the expense that goes into building those platforms, a
yes,
platform for what I consider myself as a team brokerage, right? I'm a team. Come on, we help you as a team, and this is what our value is as a team brokerage, right? And so I feel a lot of teams are moving towards that team brokerage. Let me help you build your business, right? I'm a broker. I'm also a team leader.
exactly.
Mhm.
So what do you believe the Maker Group will end up this year as far as agents? Do you have any goal in mind?
I do. I do. Thank you for asking. So, right now we have 5 new agents coming in. Hopefully, they're lining up. We're onboarding, getting in that process of onboarding them now. So the goal is to be. I would really like to see us between 15 and 20 agents by the end of the year.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as, do you have any collectively units volume that you are trying to reach?
So right now, again, we were talking about how we're heavily in production. The production that's on the table is my production. So we're right around 28 right now. But again, we're growing, and so these agents are in training and they are producing. I have a very systematic process they have to go through. So yeah.
Perfect. And what's the end goal for Kim Meeker?
So the team, not Kim Meeker, but for the team, because they will be producing. The goal is to do, we should be able to hit right around 150 to 189 transactions.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And when are you planning to be fully out of production?
18 months.
Let's go. Let's
Let's
go. I'm
do
gonna
it.
that.
I know you will too. But 18 months and 18 months from January 1, actually. So not 18 months from today.
Awesome.
So yeah. And I don't know how I came up with the 18-month time frame, you know. I just feel like uh I don't know, maybe that's cliche, but I just, 18 months is my number.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun?
That's a hard question because I don't get a lot of fun because we're behind the scenes all the time. So honestly, what I like to do for fun is I just love being around my boys. And truthfully, if I can get time to be at home and to be in the backyard, I have a green thumb. I really enjoy being around my plants, and my dogs and my boys. I love to go down to the beach and hang out. We like to rent, an Airbnb here and there and go down to the beach and hang out. That's our summertime. And that's really what I do for
Like,
fun. Sounds
like
boring.
you're not too far from the beach, right? Temecula?
About 30 minutes. I tell you, as it used to be like 20 minutes, but the traffic is getting so bad. So it may be 45 minutes nowadays. I mean, we're here in Temecula, so we're in Southern California.
That's amazing. One last question. How are you with the changing market? It's changing everywhere with the interest rate.
Mhm.
I know lots of our agents work, especially my agents work heavily on buyers. How you overcoming these objections with buyers, with your agents, and with the higher interest rate? There's a lot of buyers that they are kind of pausing,
Okay.
and we still have multiple offers everywhere. So how are you keeping your agents um, mindset and keeping them, pushing them and moving, have them move forward with all the obstacles that we have in today's market?
So I don't really feel like the agents are getting a lot of obstacles. And the reason is because we are constantly training. We meet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm in touch with them through the weekend. And when we train, we're always scripting. We're constantly scripting. We're constantly scripting with objections, new scripts, but we also have a buyer advantage program. So we have a huge value that we provide to the buyer. So by going through that and showing the value to the buyer of what we offer, we gain their trust, right? And their loyalty. And so they put a lot of trust in us. So we're not getting, I mean, yes, are the buyers spooked because of the interest rates, but what we're doing is we're going back, we're making sure that they understand, where their pre-approval is here, and we're coaching them and we're leading them. So by doing that and having those hard conversations up front, it really spares them from the disappointment if we have to change or even take them out of the market altogether. We've had a few that have had to come out of the market altogether. We just stay in touch with them. But the buyers that are still in there and working with us, we coach them on how to write the offers to be competitive in this market. We have lenders with certain programs that make them more competitive. And we really just remind them that we're right alongside with them and remind them of the value of being with us.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, Kim, amazing information. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I know you're busy and I appreciate you. And let's do this again. Thank you so much for all your contribution and for sharing with us everything you shared today.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.